Hello, today I'm going to be going over the basic parts of a desktop that you would require to build one. Okay, first off, I personally call this the Essential 8 because there are 8 things that you need to build a computer yourself from the ground up. Now, the first would be the case, which is where everything is enclosed in. Not all cases look like this. There's a lot of different designs. There's big cases, small cases, cases with windows on the side panel and no windows, lights, no lights, different color lights, things like that. It's all up to you. So that's number one, the case. And then you've got the hard drive right here, which is number 2. Now this is in no particular order, I'm just going as I see them. So here's your hard drive, and then your optical disk drive. Now not everybody needs this, but it is recommended for when you're installing an operating system and things of that nature. That's number 3. Number 4 would be the power supply, which is basically where your computer plugs into an electrical outlet. And you need to be sure you get a power supply with sufficient power to be able to power your system. So if you're going to be playing games or things like that, you're typically going to need a larger power supply, not in physical size, but in wattage and things of that nature, also depending on your video card. And that brings us to the video card. Number 5. This is where your monitor would plug into. Here we've got a couple DVI ports. Some motherboards will come with a video, what do you call that, a VGA port or a DVI port. Some come with HDMI ports, depends on the motherboard you pick. Which brings us to number 6, the motherboard. Everything plugs into the motherboard in some way or another. The hard drive, see this red cable down here, plugs in somewhat in one of these two. These are the SATA cables, and the other one would be the optical disk drive. The power supply plugs into the motherboard here for the 24-pin, which powers the motherboard, and up here, which is a 4-pin power connector for the CPU. And here's number 7, the CPU. This is actually the CPU cooler, or the heatsink, which takes heat off of the computer's the central processing unit, or CPU, and that plugs into it doesn't really plug in, but you pop it into the motherboard and then you close a latch and then you secure it. And then right next to that, here we've got the RAM, or the random access memory, or just memory. So those are the essential 8 that are required to build a computer on your own. Now, you may want to build a computer on your own if you want to play games, or if you do heavy Photoshop things, or video editing, things like that. You may want to custom build your desktop, because the pricing is very good. It's very cheap to just buy the parts themselves and then put them together. And putting them together is not that hard. It's kind of like Legos, just a little bit more expensive, you could say. So anyway, aside from those things, there are little things you can add to your case, or little fans and things like that with LEDs these two blue strips here are the cold cathode tubes. Those just emit a blue light and light up the whole case. That's just for aesthetic purposes. And yeah, you may want to, get into some cable management and things like that. If you look at some older computers, maybe from Dell or HP or things like that, the cables will just be jumbled up in some whatever crevice they can find. So thanks for watching. This has been the basic parts required in building a computer. So stay tuned, and there will be more tutorials.